Welcome to We Talking About Sports, where boys, we just got into the real timing of the NBA. Everyone knows the NBA does not start until after the trade deadline and the NBA All-Star game. And as we get into today's pod, I want to ask y'all, how was that All-Star game? Did y'all like that? Did y'all watch that at all?
Did not watch one bit of the All-Star game. I just saw, clips afterwards, and then, the memes about how much like I guess music play there was, or like concert time and commercials there was versus like actual basketball that was being played. And I think there was like the time was more than double on the entertainment versus the basketball. So still like some tweaking to do, obviously, to All-Star weekend. I don't know if you can ever really fix it. I don't think these guys are really taking it seriously. I know people are trying to do the whole compare and contrast to what happened with hockey in the Four Nations, which was absolutely electric. It
Yep.
was great TV. USA ended up losing to Canada, unfortunately, but still great TV. The build up the whole way, and that pretty much replaced the All-Star week or weekend, whatever it was for NHL, and it worked for them. But like Ben was talking about in our group chats, they're just kind of wired differently. So yeah, it's a weird All-Star weekend, and Mac McClung, he saved the day again, I guess.
What was that, 3 times? 3 in a row?
Yeah, he's made more winning dunk contests than he has in the G League, but they gotta kind of retire him now. They gotta get a real NBA guy to come out here and win the dunk contest and entertain us, kind of like Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, which I feel like was the last legit dunk contest, like back in 2016 when they went band for band, pretty much dunk for dunk, and Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine come back, save it.
That might have been the only year you could have done co-champions, to be honest. Ben, where are you at? Four Nations or the NBA All-Star game? What was the better little All-Star to watch?
Definitely the Four Nations. Yeah, man. The All-Star game was pretty played out. A lot of, downtime, like Roland alluded to. I even tuned in on Friday for the celebrity thing, and then I just had to turn the TV off. It was too much Kevin Hart. I was trying to support my boy Drewski, who was just throwing up brick after brick. Had to turn the TV off. Didn't even tune in Saturday. There was a UFC card also on Saturday, so I was watching some UFC, but the dunk contest, didn't really watch it. The 3-point shootout, thought about taking some long shots, ended up missing it because I wasn't watching the event. And then Tyler Hero ends up winning. I think the 3-point shootout, I mean, we like to place a little wager here and there. The 3-point shootout has seen some pretty high, some guys with pretty high odds win lately. Karl Anthony Towns won as like, the highest odds out of any contestant a couple years ago. Tyler Hero was up there. A lot of people were thinking possibly Damian Lillard, but Tyler Hero ends up winning. So I personally had like Garland, didn't watch any of it. Four Nations, that was pretty awesome. It sucked that USA came out, on the shit end of the stick there, but had a lot of opportunities, put up a good fight. Now the rumblings are, let's throw Russia in the mix. What would a Russian hockey team look like? Think that's going to be like New Zealand and rugby. It's going to be some powerhouse shit. But the NBA All-Star, they got to do something to fix it, put some sort of meaning to it. You can't really do what baseball does where the All-Star game gets you, I think it used to, I don't know if it still
Home
does,
field
but it got
advantage.
home field advantage, in the World Series. So guys are really out there, playing. They don't throw the juice balls out, for the All-Star game maybe, but yeah, the NBA's got to fix it. Adam Silver, one of the better commissioners, in sports, but he is yet he's got, this has gotten worse, progressively worse.
You know what they were talking about? Giannis brought this up, and he was like, the Four Nations thing. Why not do a Europe versus America for the All-Star game?
Yeah,
I mean that'll get your pride going. And
they ought to do that.
The only sport that has even the worst All-Star game, even more terrible than the NBA, is the NFL. And let's get into the NFL today. The NFL, a lot of talk right now amongst the Rams and Matthew Stafford. This is a Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Rams, but he says his future is uncertain in LA. He's gained interest from the Giants, the Raiders, and the Steelers. And the Rams have even talked about replacing him. Aaron Rodgers has been in the mix. Jimmy G's been in the mix, Roland. What do you think about this? This is Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Man, Matthew Stafford is still more than serviceable. I think a lot of teams would be lucky to have him. the whole $50 million thing, I kind of laugh because I on it, and I say this in tongue in cheek, but part of me is serious. I don't know how much of this is his wife driving this. I don't know if you guys are,
No, but
paying
yeah,
attention.
you're right. I
His
mean,
wife has a podcast, national podcast. A lot of people listen to it, and she uses some of her time to cape for her husband. Kind of reminds me of Cap back in the day with Any Given Sunday. He's got that wife, just wants him to go out there for another season while he still can. And look, Matthew Stafford again, still very serviceable. The Rams, I think they have other options. I wouldn't go Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't go Jimmy G. I think they should go for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold and the Vikings might not work out. I think that's a perfect mix. Sam Darnold, West Coast guy, USC ties, ties to LA. I think he'd much rather go to a contender like the Rams, stay in that McVay tree. I think he just played with McConnell, resurrected his career. Rather than go to another team that's kind of looking for a bridge quarterback. So I Sam Darnold, but unfortunate that the time here for Stafford and the Rams have ended because he was part of that big trade, Jared Goff for Matt Stafford, and they got it done the first year that he went over there. But all good things come to an end, and that $50 million price tag, well, I think it's viable. If you look at some of the guys and how much they're getting paid, it sounds crazy, but if you just go down the list of guys that are getting paid that much, Matthew Stafford deserves to get that check. So hopefully he gets it.
Ben, they kind of made a pretty decent playoff run this past playoffs. Does he hold some leverage here to get that $50 million payment? He has talked about show me some love and I'll stay. So do you think that there's a chance there?
I think this is pretty crazy news, to be honest with you. I didn't see them breaking ties. I honestly saw Stafford probably retiring a Ram. I mean, yeah, he wants a payday, but he got them, over the hump. They won the Super Bowl, after going out and getting him. So I don't know if they paid him, prior, or they just took on his contract then. But they probably owe it to the guy, and he's probably I don't want to say your best shot at staying relevant because I think McVay is good enough to, as Roland alluded to with Sam Darnold, the Vikings and a rookie head coach, I believe, got him to the playoffs. I'm pretty sure Sean McVay can, make the offense go to where he looks very efficient and, covers up some of his weak points. But, whoever gets Stafford, I still think that he's got some juice left in him. I will say, after hearing the rumblings, I do think he's as good as gone. I don't think that they re-sign him. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but there is a lot of options out there. I also saw some rumors about the Patriots possibly, shopping around Joe Milton. I don't think that, Milton is really a Sean McVay guy. You know what I mean? He's more of the athletic quarterback. I see McVay with more of a pocket passer guy. So, but there is a lot of options like Darnold and, Aaron Rodgers, who we hear now. And Aaron Rodgers has said, hey, and if, the Jets release Devontae Adams, he's coming with me too. So it's kind of like you're getting a package deal. Edgar or Josh in the comments saying Aaron Rodgers is a fraud.
Oh,
I
he's
agree
wrong.
with you 100%. I agree with you. And I think that's why he's hitching that Devontae Adams, wagon to him, because Devontae probably still showed that he's still got some juice. And if Aaron Rodgers is going to be his quarterback and forcing him the ball, Devontae Adams is still going to be a top 20 wide receiver in the game. So smart move by Rodgers, kind of hitching his wagon, left the caveat if he gets released. We see how it is in the NFL. Devontae Adams got his way, onto the Jets with Rodgers already. So I don't see him not being released. But I thought that was a smart move by Rodgers. Hey, you're getting Devontae Adams as well. You're not just getting me.
Yeah. And, the talk from the Giants, the Raiders, and the Steelers. Steelers, you're looking at them probably getting off of Russell Westbrook at this point, or Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields. They got Justin Fields as the backup, so that's a spot for Justin Fields to go somewhere else. It doesn't seem like they're interested in keeping him around, even though he started so well for them boys. I mean, he was 4-0 as a starter.
I'm a Fields fan, although I think that this is what the Steelers are missing. I think Stafford to Pickens could be pretty rowdy. The Steelers, though, aren't the team that goes out and makes, big splashes. They might sign a free agent, like somebody like Russell Wilson who gets cut, but trading for Stafford, I mean, what do you all even think the value is of Stafford? Is it first round pick? Is it Less than a first round pick? What would you put it at, Roland? What are we starting with?
I mean, probably like a third or a second. I don't think he's worth the first round pick anymore, just because you got to think about how long he's going to play. But he still is, by all means, a top tier quarterback. When you just talk about, maybe he's probably still top 10 at this point in his career and what he last did. So I mean, Stafford again. I just circling back to the Rams, though. I do think it's in their best interest to try and work things out with him. He's a guy he's run that offense. He has a great connection with Puka Nakua. I know Cooper Kupp is going to be on his way out, but receivers a position that you can replace in the league. There's a bunch of receivers coming into the league every single year, and so they can replace them and they can find somebody to run that spot in that offense. Although Cooper Kupp, when he was in his prime, one of the best. But Stafford, I think it's in his best interest and the teams to kind of work it out. But not going to shy away or not going to tell a guy not to go get his bag. So whatever works best for him. But I do think the Rams should try and re-sign him for sure or keep him.
Anything else, Ben, on this one before we move over to the next one?
No, yeah, it would be in the Rams' best interest. He's made, I don't want to say he's made all these receivers, but, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua, Jordan Whittington has had his moments.
Demarcus Robinson, he was getting it done with him.
Yeah, so, I mean, Stafford can get it done. Like I said, with the Steelers, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer for the Steelers, but then are you going to go out and make the move? Because the Steelers are, going above 500, they take so much pride in, Mike Tomlin's winning seasons. Bounced in the first round, though, because quarterback play does come in and scoring points in the playoffs. That's something that Matthew Stafford's been doing, his whole career. So I think for somebody like the Steelers, this is like, oh, shit, a guy like Stafford's available. I mean, they've shown that they're cool with bringing on that veteran guy maybe on the tail end of his career. Stafford has a lot more juice than Russell Wilson, and they guaranteed Russell Wilson a job. I know that they just had to pay him off of the free agency market. They didn't have to trade for him, but it would be a good move for them. I don't know if the Raiders are in the mix.
Steelers and Raiders, Giants. So Giants,
Okay.
that's a joke of a team to go to at this point. Raiders, can you see something there for him?
Yeah, I mean, if they go out and pay the bill, I mean, for sure. Tom Brady's there. He's kind of behind things right now, so that's a natural connection. I could see them trying to do that, and then maybe draft somebody also here in the upcoming draft. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Anybody who gets Matt Stafford is going to be lucky to have him.
All right, let's move over to the rich getting richer. The Eagles are anticipating Josh Sweat to leave. Could Howie Roseman make this sort of deal, some sort of blockbuster trade, and get Myles Garrett to the Eagles? I know they have panicked that the Washington Commanders are interested in him, and the Browns have said, hey, Myles Garrett's off limits, but we've seen blockbuster trades for the Eagles fall before. Howie Roseman is a very capable GM, Roland. What do you think?
I mean, I'm just going to lead on that last point. Howie Roseman, very capable GM. You've seen what he's done over the years in terms of accumulating talent. The Eagles by far, I wouldn't say by far, but they do have the best roster in football, just top to bottom, when you look at all the talent that they have and they've gotten over the years in drafts and trades, with proven players out in the market already, drafting the Georgia Bulldogs on defense. I mean, they're a well-oiled machine. And if they add Myles Garrett, which again, I don't know the mechanics behind what they would do to get him, obviously starts with some first round picks, which I think is worth it. Garrett, 29 years old, still in his prime, probably got another big contract in him that he's looking for. And I mean, the Eagles are in win now mode. So this is a move that you do to, they're trying to go back to back, and they're going to lose maybe one of their best plays, which we'll talk about soon. So they're going to have to beef up that defense. So yeah, I wouldn't put it past them.
Man, this is one of the best players in the NFL, maybe top 3 player in the NFL. How ridiculous would it be for the Eagles to land this guy?
Is there credence behind this, or is this just a slide you made?
No,
there's credence. Yeah,
this is real.
What the fuck, bro?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it makes sense because it's an AFC team trading him into the NFC. You know what I mean? But I mean, you talk about the rich getting richer. If they get him next to Carter, and that defense is already mean as hell.
Davis,
That would be crazy. I do like the
Nolan.
Commanders, though. I like the Commanders going after him. I wouldn't mind him
Yeah.
ending up in Washington. I'll go out on a limb and say, usually when players, like we've been saying, players request trades, do they get their way or not? The NFL is not like the NBA, right? But Myles Garrett did it with the whole summer for it kind of to spew, talks to go on at the combine, talks to go on at draft night, talks to go on through the summer. There's just a lot of time to get this done. And if it starts camp, of course the Browns don't want to, trade him, but he's not going to show up to camp. If nothing's gotten done by then, we're definitely going to hear about Myles Garrett's holding out from camp. Whether he comes back before the season or something else. But there's going to be a lot of drama. The Browns have had a lot of bad drama coming around, around the team with all the Watson shit and all that. This is a way to get the spotlight on you. Might not be the best way. I think that it's in their best interest to trade him, especially because he's already come out and said it. But don't go do it to the Eagles. I mean, let the Commanders give you, maybe 2 first-round picks. It's not going to, if the Eagles are going to start with picks also, it's going to be a couple picks down the line from the Commanders. So I really hope that the Eagles don't get him. But again, another guy who I think we don't see in a Browns uniform next year. I think like Stafford, I think he's gone.
I think the Commanders will probably be the front runners in the trade market for him. Today, Jonathan Allen did request a trade from the Commanders. Yep. So you already have a piece available, which is pretty suitable for the Browns. You're not losing. Well, you are losing a lot regardless. This is Myles Garrett, but you're getting something in return, an actual player who can play the position on the line. So it's not a complete loss. But man, this would be absolutely scary for the whole league if you add this player. Yeah, he's a top 3 player in the whole league, and you're adding
Edgar in the comments says they already have a nasty pass rush. Why give away assets? Do the Eagles really need him? I don't know if they need him, but I mean, this is a top 2 pass rusher in the
game changer.
You said they're already losing 1 defensive end, and Brandon Graham is getting old. He just came back from an injury just to play in the Super Bowl. He's got grays on the beard, so yeah, they could use the reinforcements there on the defensive line with Myles Garrett. So hopefully they don't do it. But
if you're the Eagles, you don't need your first round pick when you have that roster assembled already.
Yeah, you're in win now.
You can lose it.
Yeah, you're in win now mode.
So I would say 2 first, and then maybe a player to get him if you have to do it.
Yeah, and if you're the Browns, you got to do it now because Garrett, he'll be a free agent after 2026, so you still got a little bit of time on that contract to, there's value there, right? You're not just trading a guy for half a season or for that season, so you're going to get him for 2 if you trade for him now. So,
and honestly, if there's any GM that would do this, Howie Roseman's the guy, Roland. I mean, he's the one that could pull something off like this.
Oh, I thought you said Jerry Jones.
No, we're being selectively aggressive with what we're going to be.
I would say this fits the mold right here. Come on, Jerry. Selectively aggressive.
I hope he ends up like on the Buccaneers or some shit like that, bro. Like where it's like a defense that really needs help and he's not just putting them over the top. It's not like KD joining the Warriors or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's over. It's OP if he lands on the Eagles, right? Like that's just too much.
Fuck yeah, that's way too much, bro.
Well, let's not stop talking about the Eagles here. The Green Bay Packers have sent a letter to the league about banning the tush push because it's a 87% clip successful rate anytime they need 1 yard or less for the Eagles. Now I'm on the side of this is not a football play. This is a rugby play. I don't like the way it looks, but boys, I mean, it's effective. Do they have a case, Ben, to get this removed?
I don't think they have a case personally. I mean, just because you can't stop it is not a good reason. It's not like if it's an illegal formation or they found a loophole on, lining up guys. It's a new and renowned quarterback sneak. Like, like everything, the game evolves. And this is when you have the athlete. I mean, we've seen Josh Allen try and run it, against the Chiefs in the playoff game.
Mm-hmm. And they got the 1 yard.
They were running a QB sneak. They weren't running the tush push, even though they were lining up like in a tush push. So it's not something everybody can do. Like we said, you got to have the personnel, and when you have
to have the QB.
and then you got Saquon Barkley, you know, in the back doing the push. We saw college football with Reggie Bush and Matt Leitner, you know, and the push get kind of banned or
That's
whatever.
an illegal play.
Yeah, I don't see it in the NFL. I mean, Green Bay Packers, you showed your colors. You fucking soft. That might be softer than a guy that we're going to talk about in the
Roland,
next slide.
the Green Bay's reasoning on this was they're saying
it's not a football play. I mean, come on, guys.
Thank
Like,
it's a quarterback sneak.
No,
bro.
it's not. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
You can't. It's not a quarterback sneak. Can you do that in Madden? No, it is a quarterback sneak in Madden.
You
Go straight forward. And you
Madden's
alluded to Josh Allen and the quarterback sneak that they did. That's the quarterback sneak. This is cheating. They're literally going behind freaking, and they're taking advantage of the, you know, the what's it called, when they don't stop the ball because of forward progress, you know, and they let the linemen just go up there and just push the guys and carry the
Sometimes
guys.
they're pulling the guy even.
Yeah, like come on, like, and then you're gonna allow 3 or 4 guys like in this picture here to go in and just give, you know, Jalen Hurts a burst. Yes, Jalen Hurts squats like 2,000 pounds and he's a monster. I'm not gonna debate that, but when you're allowing them to do this, I mean, no one's gonna stop that ever. Like, and then I'm on the side of like what that guy from the Commanders. He just did like 5 offsides and
he's doing suplexes over the line to get him.
And then they come in and say, "Hey, if you keep on doing that, that's actually going to be a touchdown at a certain point," which is crazy. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame the Packers. I mean, it's annoying. But then again, if you're the Eagles, keep on doing it. If it's allowed every time it's 3rd and second, if it's 2nd and 1, line up and do it, get the first down and reset the chains. You know, I don't blame them for doing it. I don't think it's a good play. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm not in the most you know, even on this subject because of my, you know, disdain for the Eagles, but just watching that as a football fan, it is kind of annoying. But you know, if you have Jalen Hurts to score anytime touchdown, you know, almost an automatic bet sometimes. So, you know, there's good and the bad.
We might need that on a shirt, yo.
Here's the thing, though, guys.
Alive. Keep the tush push alive.
In the NFL, it's an offensive-driven league. They have already all the advantages. Now you're giving them another one. It's time to help the defense out some way.
You shouldn't be able to push the guy like that. That is not. Come on. That's
or pull him forward. Like forward progress needs to be rolled a certain way.
We've seen linemen keep guys up, push them forward, receivers when they might be short or they might be falling. We've never bitched about it then. Like everybody can do it. So if it's that effective, every team should be able to do it. The truth is, though, we've seen Patrick Mahomes do a regular QB sneak and get hurt.
I remember back
the Chiefs having QB sneak with him since.
I remember a good old-fashioned quarterback sneak back in the day when, you know, you had to like just do the quarterback sneak and then, you know, guess, you know, the which gap to go into. You know, that's a quarterback sneak. Or just,
that's football,
you know,
right? Like you're giving both sides of the ball a chance to make the play.
And, you know, the good old fashioned, you know, just jumping up and, you know, reaching up your hands over like those are the quarterback sneaks that we're talking about. Like this is not a quarterback sneak. Like Justin said, it's a rugby play. Like you can't allow them
power, bro.
So the Packers
power sneak.
The Packers' main argument is there's no way to practice against this because they don't have the personnel to practice against this. They don't have a quarterback who can do the squat. They don't have the extra running backs that can do this.
Well, go fucking find one, bro.
They're having to not be able to practice, and it's not fair for them. That's what they're saying. That's their main argument to get this banned.
Like if Jalen Hurts is the prototypical quarterback, how about you go to the fucking Gold's Gym, find a dude there who's playing basketball and muscular, and have him come to practice and run the tush push. Imagine like an MMA fighter saying, "Hey man, I can't find anybody to mimic John Jones, man. This shit ain't fair, bro. We shouldn't be able to fight John Jones because we don't have – this is the softest shit ever, bro." Matt LaFleur lost a lot of respect for that motherfucker tonight. A lot of respect.
I hope they ban it eventually.
I think you got to ban it. It's just the offense has too many advantages as it is. So to make it a little bit fair, let's 50-50 it out. Because you know what? It's only the Bills and the Eagles who have that success rate. All other teams, they don't have the same success rate when trying the same thing.
Josh Allen lines it up like a man in the shotgun and just goes straight forward. Come on, man.
I mean, the dude's a bull, bro. I mean, he's a bull. So
that's the MVP right there.
Yeah. Well, that's it for NFL tonight, boys. I want to get into some NBA since we are in the thick of it, and I'm going to start with you, Roland. Unfortunately, we got the news this week. It was a little bit shocking. San Antonio Spurs prodigy Victor Wembanyama suffered a DVT in his right shoulder. Now we also got news that Pop's not coming back for the rest of the season. Roland, was this the start you imagined for Wemby his first 2 seasons?
I mean, look, he was a favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. He was having a great season. He was an all-star. The offense, he was still working on it. If you just look at the raw numbers, wasn't too big of a jump, but he was still doing great. Still got some stuff to work on in terms of shot selection and stuff. But overall, the injury, unfortunate because it goes beyond basketball. We've seen guys stop their careers over this. A lot of people are bringing up the Brandon Ingram injury. He had that injury when he was a Laker. It stopped him at the exact same point in his career, second year, I want to say, and then he came back in his third year and won Most Improved Player. So I still think Wemby's future is bright. Glad they caught it when they did. Hopefully, he takes the recovery process, slowly and, gets back into playing basketball, when it's right, I guess. And hopefully it comes in time for next season. He's been playing a lot of basketball, all the way up until, this point, with the blood clot, but unfortunate. Just glad they caught it when he did, because this does go beyond basketball, much like, the whole thing with Pop.
This could be fatal.
Yeah, it could be fatal. And, it's kind of sad, like when you just look at it from, I guess, the Spurs perspective and what they had planned for the next 15 years, if Wemby's healthy, knock on wood, it was partially the end of an era with Pop. He was going to retire anyways, and then he has this whole cardiac arrest thing, and not able to come back. And I don't think he's going to end up coming back at any point. I think this is probably it for Pop. I don't know if he comes back for a victory lap season at this point in his career. It's a lot, and he doesn't need that stress, especially after what he just experienced. The guy saved the franchise when he took over as the coach and GM, with a lot of the moves he made. But yeah, it's time for a new era, and hopefully that new era and Wemby, the other guy that's pictured here, is protected, because he is the next 15 years if the Spurs want to have a solid future. And the good thing about Wemby, though, just going back to on the court, still 21 years old. I think he just turned 21. Man, he's still got a ways to go. I mean, Luka just turned 26. And if you just talk about the landscape of the NBA and the top young players, Wemby's in a good position to, by the time he reaches that 25, 26, to hopefully be in position to take over the league. But that all comes with health, and health is wealth. So hopefully, he has it.
Now, for you, would you rather see the Spurs kind of shut down maybe even De'Aaron Fox, get that surgery on his thumb that he might need, and kind of just tank for Cooper Flag at this point? Or do you still want to see them fight out and try to make it into that 8th spot for the West, or end up playing in the West?
I want them to lay down, rest, get ready for next year. Unfortunately, this is what happened. And, the Spurs were trending that way anyways. People were already going to start talking about, hey, should they shut down Wemby? Because what happened immediately after we got Fox? Unfortunately, I think we went on like a 4 or 5 game skid, and really played ourselves out of the play-in conversation. I don't think we're there, unfortunately. When you look at some of those games, we blew some late, and it's unfortunate that it went down that way, but that's what happened. The whole Fox thing, I think he's going to try and get to like the 65 game mark. Was speaking with another one of our friends, Joby, and he mentioned that he needs to hit the 65 game mark to be eligible for that Supermax. So as soon as he hits that, maybe we sit him down. But yeah, man, the Spurs got a lot of things to look forward to. We still got some pretty valuable picks. You mentioned Cooper Flag. Don't think we're in that sweepstakes, unfortunately. I don't know if we're going to be able to tank that much to catch up to some of the teams that have already done some work. But we still got I was going to say the Falcons. We still got the Hawks pick from that trade a couple of years ago. Hopefully that is a pretty fruitful pick, and we can reload, because look, man, the Spurs at the end of the day just didn't have enough talent top to bottom to compete with some of these teams. My podcast mate here, Ben, his team has been accumulating and stacking talent for the last 3 to 4 years, maybe even 5, when you talk about what happened after that Harden trade. So, we're still trying to get there at that level, and still need some, high level draft picks to get that done. That's part of it. So hopefully we hit, and, we don't take a random 17-year-old from Alabama that ends up getting, that's another story. But anyways, yeah, the future's bright for the Spurs. I digress.
And Wemby just got ruled out for the rest of the season. DVT in his right shoulder, pops out. What do you want to see from the Spurs here on out?
Man, I mean, I'm seeing what I wanted to see from the Spurs this season.
Nah, bro.
You know what I mean? I really am. The show's just getting softer and softer. I do agree with Roland. Pop's done. I don't see him coming back for that farewell tour. I mean, the team is a circus, but I don't think you go full Samuel L. Jackson, at halftime of the Super Bowl and come back for another year to another tankathon. And before the Wemby shit, De'Aaron Fox, I get it, the Supermax, but fuck. I mean, the Spurs would be doing him dirty, but is that something that just was agreed on before he even came to the team? Like, you will be Supermaxed? I mean...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's some agreement there. I mean, for what's to come.
Look, obviously I'm a Spurs hater, bro, but they fumbled the bag trading for Fox instead of Trae Young. They really fumbled that bag. Like, same position. Both guys are going to be Supermax regardless.
I'd rather have De'Aaron Fox than Trae.
Trae Young wanted to be a Spur too, is the other fucking thing. Like, he said,
so did De'Aaron Fox. That was his preferred destination. Yeah. I think we made the right decision with De'Aaron Fox, but that's another opinion.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's unfortunate for the Spurs. We'll see how high their draft pick is. Like Roland said, I don't think they're going to be in the top, in the Cooper Flag or, Ace Bailey sweepstakes. Hopefully not. But, they do have the Hawks and theirs, although the Hawks seem to be turning their season around a bit. Lucky to be in the Eastern Conference. You can make the playoffs probably with the 500 record over in the East. So
that Hawks the A seed right now.
Yeah, they're the A seed right now. Prior to the All-Star break, that was trending to be, they might throw in the towel after the DeJounte Murray injury and whatnot. Clint Capella's been out also. I had to mention him, former Rocket. But it looks like the Spurs pick might be more valuable than the Hawks pick this year. It'd be, we might see the NBA hook them up again. And if they get into the top 5, I think that's
what I'm hoping for. Just hook us up one more time.
It's not going to be Cooper Flag, but it could be a 6'10", Ace Bailey with the 3 pick. If Harper does go 2 or something like that, you could. The ball can bounce your way.
I kind of retract my statement a little bit because I think we can out tank the Trailblazers. They're 25.
They're only 1 game behind you.
And the Blazers are trying to figure it out.
But the problem is we're not going to be worse than the Sixers, I don't think, because they're getting ready to shut down Embiid.
Or the Jazz.
The Raptors are pretty bad, and the Hornets and Wizards are both pretty bad too. So I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. Hopefully we get our tank on. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's move on to the East. I got to ask you boys, is this really a 2-horse race? The Knicks are sitting at the 3rd spot. Do they have any chance of beating these 2 teams in the playoffs? And I got to ask you, Roland, what's more likely for the Knicks? That they lose in the first round or they make the finals? What do you think? 2-horse race or not?
2-horse race for sure. I don't think the Knicks will go out in the first round. I think they'll beat one of the teams they get matched up with if they hold on to that 3 seed, whoever ends up in that 6th slot. The problem for me with the Knicks is Tom Thibodeau's their coach. And they're going to be playing their starters, 40 minutes. Josh Hart is going to be having to go out there and, being all hard hustle and glory. And I don't know if you can rely on Cat. As much as I like Cat, I think he's one of the most skillful players in the NBA. I just don't know if you can win with him at the end of the day as your starting 5. And then, you got Mikal Bridges. Sometimes you don't even know if he's on the floor or not. So the Knicks, I like their team. I'm a big fan of Jalen Brunson. Another player the Mavs fumbled. But the Knicks, I don't think they have the guns to win the East this year. I really do think the Celtics are going to win it again. The Cavs are a good story. But the Celtics are just another monster when they're all healthy and playing good basketball. So give me the Celtics.
All right. Ben, we've seen the minutes that Tibbs has been putting Cat through. He doesn't look like he's 100%. Do the Knicks have any shot, or is this a 2-horse race?
I think it's a 2-horse race. I mean, I like the Knicks, but they go like 6, 7 deep tops. You know, they come with McBride off the bench. They have OG, they have Miles Bridges.
They need Mitchell Robinson to come back. Like,
yeah, it's too much. And then you have Cat, who's one of his big things is he just fouls like an idiot, bro. And he finds himself in foul trouble in big games.
Oh my God.
I don't think
Not
that
the Cowboys, bro.
yeah, hey, that Jeff Teague impersonation, man. Shout out Jeff Teague, bro. He's after the NBA, he's become a really good personality, in the podcast world. But he was on Gil's Arena, and he had a Cat impersonation where he sounded very sus, very, very sus.
Yeah.
But I think the Knicks play just a little too slow. Like, I know in the playoffs everything slows down, but these teams have too much firepower for the Knicks. Like, I'm not saying, they'll go out and sweep them, but it really is the Cavs and the Celtics. And I don't even want to say it's a 2-team race because I think the Cavs bigs might get played off the court. Whether it's Allen or Mobley, at least one of them, the Celtics will play off the court. Porzingis has been in and out of the lineup. They haven't even been forcing him, to play through shit. He'll come back in the playoffs, give him a little run. So I do see the Celtics being there in the East, and I think that they take care of everybody in 6 games or less, on their path to the finals.
Hopefully not, boys. I don't like them Celtics. Let's move over to the West here, and I got to include my guys, the Lakers.
Luka Magic.
Are the Lakers the biggest threat to the Thunder in the West? Roland, what do you think?
Biggest threat to the Thunder? No. But are they a threat to the Thunder? Yes. I will say that. The biggest threat for me still is going to be that team in Denver. The Nuggets, when they're playing their best basketball, when Jokic is playing MVP caliber basketball, pretty hard to beat. I don't know if I necessarily like the sum of all their pieces. Like when you really have to play Russell Westbrook some minutes, like it's easy to, pick them off in the playoffs. But I'm saying all this to say that I don't think the Thunder are a shoo-in in the West, even though they've been the wire-to-wire 1 seed. They're probably not going to falter. They're going to have that 1 seed. SGA is going to win MVP at this rate, unless, Jokic catches them or something like that. But I think there's a lot of matchups that the Thunder can falter on. I mean, if the Lakers and Thunder match up in the second round, I'm still probably going to lean the Thunder because I think they have too many dogs. Like then you add Chet, who's not pictured here, and he's been injured. And that's really what we were all waiting to see was this team gel together with Chet. We saw some of that. They were nasty. If Chet can come back and play, a solid, some solid minutes for them in the playoffs, they're going to be hard to beat. But I think there's a couple teams in the West who can give them a run for their money for sure. And one of them is LeBron and Luka here for sure.
Ben, are the Lakers the biggest threat to the Thunder in the West? We did see the Lakers just beat the Nuggets by 23 points.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I also, before that, saw them lose to the Charlotte Hornets. Like, I just think, obviously, we got to jump the gun because Luka got traded to the Lakers.
And he's already shed some weight. I've seen some pictures.
Let's fucking relax, bro.
He did, Roland.
LaMelo Ball just fucking put these boys on a mixtape. Luka
won by 3.
With the weight lost or not, bro. He had him out there like
he still was looking a little hefty.
A fucking extra, and you got
Ozempic hadn't hit yet, man.
Bro. They're gonna be hunting this guy out in the playoffs, bro. They're doing it in the regular season. A team as low level as the fucking Charlotte Hornets is hunting him out in the regular season and getting it done. I get it. Yes, they did just beat Denver by a shit ton too. Saw that game, didn't enjoy it. But I think we got to relax. Are they the biggest threat to the Thunder? I mean,
but do you think they are a threat? How many games do you think they last in a series with the Thunder? Like a threat for me is if you take a team 6 with the possibility.
Well, then if they take a team 6 games, then I would say it's gonna go 6 or 5 games. They probably are a threat. But like the Thunder just play very hard 1 through 5. To whereas the Lakers are a more veteran team, a team that might take a possession or two off, and then they're going to be like Shy's going to be hunting Luka, J Dub's going to be hunting Luka, Chet's going to be eating down low because
I just think that guy that's there on the far right, J Dub, Jalen Williams, and I love his game since he came into the league. He's going to need to be a legit 2 guy because all the attention is going to be on Shy. There's a lot of ISO, but once Shy breaks down the defense, J Dub's usually the guy that catches it, and he's a decision maker from that point. He needs to be on his game in the playoffs, and that's just part of my thing. I don't trust anything after SGA legit in the playoffs, like in a 7-game series. I just haven't seen it yet. So again, like the right matchup, I don't know. The Thunder come away. There's the favorites right now. I think they're like -130 to win the West. The last that I checked. But even then, it's like I'd rather take a shot with one of these other teams.
We haven't seen it yet, but like we know that all the pieces are there and they just need to grow together in the playoffs.
They got
the way that they lost last year. Like we've seen some teams lose like that and then learn their lesson and bounce back. So, like you said, Shy's going to be the MVP. They have all the pieces there. It's been all through the draft as well. It's not like they traded for Shy prior to Shy, right? But it's not like they traded and brought somebody in. They have a pretty good nucleus. They can't do a fucking post-game interview just with one person. Like they have very good chemistry. And I think that, they grew from last year's playoff loss. I do think they are the favorite. Obviously, they're the favorite, right? But 1 through 5, and even with the bench, like they just play really hard. They play really well, and they're going to have home court advantage, which in Oklahoma City is like a college atmosphere.
Yes.
They don't got much out there. So it's going to be lit.
What about you?
I'm upset about Alperen Sengun, the all-star Alperen Sengun, not being in this image either.
I do have one stat I want to read out to y'all. I want to see what you make of it, if you buy into it at all. 9 of OKC's 11 losses are to Western Conference playoffs teams. They've lost to Denver, they've lost to Houston, Golden State 2 times, Dallas 3 times, and Minnesota 2 times. Does that matter to y'all that the only losses they do have on record are already to teams they might face in the playoffs?
Yeah, because some of those teams match up good with them. I like some of those teams' chances against the Thunder. Yes, it's different in the playoffs, but like again, the Thunder, the way that they play, again in the playoffs, they're really gonna need to be able to feed off of that pass from SGA because he's not gonna score. Well, I don't know. I don't want to look like an idiot and say he's not going to score 30 every game, but things are a little bit different. In the shots are tougher to come by, points are tougher to come by. SGA, not going to call him a free throw merchant, but he does get to the line a lot. He relies on getting to the line, and when you're relying on that doesn't always come to fruition in the playoffs. That's going to go down a little bit, I would be inclined to think. So again, I'm just not a true believer in the Thunder. And I'll probably be, I don't know, I'll be picking against them at some point.
But are you a believer in the Lakers?
Man, that's a good question. I don't think the Lakers have enough like 2-way players. I've heard a lot of people say that. I don't think they have enough guys that can play legit defense. The glaring hole at 5, right? Like, are you really going to be playing Jackson Hayes at the 5? Like, how many good minutes is he going to
They traded for Alex Len.
Alex Len, yeah, he's going to be the savior.
We just picked him up. We'd have to trade for him.
Yeah, give me some minutes. Maybe sign Andrew Bynum if he's still out there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, anytime you're able to pair up Luka Doncic, who looks like he's going to be, and for all intents and purposes, in his best shape coming down the stretch, save for injury, and with LeBron James. I mean, that doesn't happen. And LeBron James has had a litany of great teammates. I think Luka might be. It's debatable with D-Wade because I think LeBron got D-Wade right towards the edge of his prime, but I don't know if he's ever had a teammate as good as Luka. Like in this situation, 26 years old, just in his prime, MVP candidate, just took a team to the finals. That's arguably, I don't know, maybe some of their pieces was better than what the Lakers have, but they didn't have LeBron, took that team to the finals. I mean, when you just look at it like that, I mean, yeah, I do believe in the Lakers a little bit. I do like their odds to, in the right circumstance, with the right draw, maybe avoid the Thunder to the Western Conference Finals. They can get there for sure.
My-
The Lakers for sure, not for sure, but the Lakers, I like their chances to get to the Western Conference Finals. I do, depending on the shake of the draw.
See, and my whole thing was Lakers fans were saying, "Oh, we're not going to win it this year, but this is a move for the future."
No, yes, it
this
is.
this sets us up for our future. No, this is what all Lakers fans were saying, bro. Justin said this also. I don't think for this year, but it sets us up. And now it's like they're the fucking threat, baby. We beat Denver by 24 after losing to the Charlotte Hornets. Like,
and Jazz, we lost to the Jazz
fucking
too.
Seesaw's like, come on, bro. Like, there's like a.
They move off of LeBron long term. The guy is Luka now. They're making decisions for Luka. Luka's a 26.
Two things can be true, Ben. You have to remember that. Two things can always be true.
And this experiment can just take off immediately because Luka.
But what have we seen to make it true, bro? Like you just said, they lost to the Jazz and the Hornets.
Well, I liked what I saw.
But they beat the
Nuggets
by 24.
Yeah.
So what have we seen to make it say like, oh yeah, they're
over the last 15 games, man? The Lakers ranked number 1 in defensive rating.
They were already the 5 or 4 seed before that. LeBron has been playing pretty good defense for the past couple of weeks. I mean, I think he's locked in. I think he sees the opportunity. I think they can make the Western Conference Finals. I don't know if they're going to win it. If they get matched up with the
Talk to me, Roland. Talk to me, Roland.
Like I said in the beginning, if the Lakers are the 4 seed, the Thunder are the 1 in a 1-4 in the second round, I'd still take the Thunder to beat the Lakers. I really would. Because I do think they have too many weapons at the end of the day. I think it would be a bad matchup for the Lakers. But again, if they catch some teams, they can avoid the Thunder into the Western Conference Finals, or maybe not play them because somebody else knocks them out. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a path for them. Anytime you have Luka Doncic and LeBron James, you're gonna have a chance. Like unless one of them goes down, which at this point, I knock on wood, I don't want to happen. Because I want to see the basketball. I want to see Luka and LeBron play together.
Man, the Rockets will get rid of these fools in the first.
No, and I already told you, if they match up, I like the Lakers to take out the Rockets. Like if that's a matchup in the first round, I would take the Lakers all day to beat the Rockets. Like that. That's one of the teams. Like, do you really in the 7-game series think the Rockets would beat the Lakers?
Yeah. What the fuck do you mean? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Nah, that's not happening.
It's like we're putting credence on the regular season, but so if they just fuck them up all regular season,
it's not the regular season,
right? But we're talking about LeBron's regular season defense over the last 14 days.
And
like, come on, bro.
We're talking about LeBron James, the 4-time NBA champion.
We know what's going to happen when it gets to the half court. They're going to hunt Luka. They're going to hunt LeBron's old ass. And yeah, Jackson Hayes can catch an alley-oop on the offensive end, but on defense, he's not going to.
Hey, Koloko will stop him. Don't worry about it. Koloko will get him.
Bro.
Nah, I really do think the Lakers are Western Conference Finals threats. I think they can make it there. Just depends on the matchups. If they end up in a 3-6 with the Rockets or something like that, give me the Lakers there.
Well, they're playing the Mavs tonight without AD, so they're 9-point favorites. They'll probably win, and tomorrow they'll be the champs. I'm sure.
They had AD warming up before the game. I really thought he was going to end up playing, but that's the way the NBA goes, man.
Like it's the Thunder, the Nuggets, and then maybe the Lakers, Grizzlies. I mean, I like the Timberwolves maybe at the end of the day more than the Grizzlies. But yeah, man, the Lakers have a chance. You have Luka and LeBron.
Hey, well, let's sign off with Luka's points. Luka's points tonight. You know, what have they tipped off already, Justin?
Yeah, 11-6. Lakers are up. It's the first quarter, 8 minutes left here.
His points total was at 31.5. Am I correct, Roland?
Yeah, I think it was 31.5.
Y'all think he goes under or over this revenge game against the Mavs? And then can get off. This is the last slide, right? So we'll get off of here with that.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go over. I think it's like statement game for him. No AD there, so he can really. They're gonna feed him enough. I think he goes over.
Roland?
I like points and assists over today. That's what I like.
Yeah, I like his overs for sure. He's locked in. He just scored a bucket and won. Yeah, I like the Lakers, man. I'm again not a Lakers fan, but I'd want to see the basketball.
I think you like Luka though. I feel like you're turning on Luka.
Yeah, I'm a Luka fan. I
feel like that.
He'll be back to cooking Luka once the playoffs come around and the defense shows up.
We'll see.
He'll be back to cooking him.
We'll see.
right.
Depends if he burns
It's
my
cool.
Western
It's
Conference Finals
it's cool.
ticket.
It's the wave right now. It's cool right now. It's cool right now.
He does look a lot thinner though on the TV for
Yeah.
sure.
I don't
And he
Zempic hit,
still
dog.
can't fucking play defense. That's thin. He could be a stick. He still ain't gonna be able to move his feet.
JJ get him right. He'll play some defense.
Yeah, and they're well coached.
Thank God
Another
we
guy
didn't get
who's
Dan
never
Hurley.
played.
Thank God we didn't get Dan Hurley. That seems like we dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, Dan Hurley made for college for sure.
Dan Hurley just needs a couple 7-footers. He'll be all right.
Yeah,
all right, boys. Hopefully we can do this again maybe in 2 weeks. Bring you a little bit more NBA and maybe some NFL news. We're gonna have some UFC coming up soon, so we'll be back. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Peace.
Yep. Peace.